Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. We are officially back from our NBA All-Star break. I missed all you guys. I hope you missed me too. We have a new day, a new week, which means a new NBA Player Prop Parlay to get to. Man, it feels good to be back. But first, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment down below if you'd like. We love all the interaction with our Guy Boston sports community. So, a little program update for how these next couple days are going to go. Since we've been gone for a little while, I figured, and we have a lot of games, a full NBA slate tonight, I figured let's do a 5-leg parlay today and a 5-leg parlay tomorrow, and then we'll do like a 3 or 4-leg on Saturday. So this is our, let's call it Thirsty Thursday, 5-leg parlay, and we'll do obviously our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay tomorrow. So 5-leg parlay today to get to. I'm really excited to be back and to share these picks with you guys. Apologies, I know we didn't have a lot of content coming out the past week. We were going to do a little bit more, but we ended up just kind of enjoying the break a little bit. I did put my video, if you guys haven't seen it yet, my player prop parlay behind the scenes video, which I did last week, is up there on the channel. So, real quick recap of how we've been doing. I've now given up 200 props this year. We've hit on 149 props. They 74.5% hit rates on props this season. Last week, we only had 3 videos last week. I gave out 11 props across those 3 videos. We cashed on 7 out of 11 props. And since January 22nd, in the last month, we are up 17.45 units here on the video series. Clap it up. The parlays, they don't always hit, but overall, we are profitable on the month. So let's carry that positive momentum. Let's carry the good vibes. Again, 74.5% hit rate on the year for our props. We've given out 200 player props this year so far. Got 5 more to give to you guys today. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. All right, guys, here we go. First leg of our 5-leg parlay. We are targeting the Orlando Magic Cleveland Cavaliers game. It kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Evan Mobley of the Cavs over 15.5 points plus assists. Let's go ahead and kick this over to the Outlier screen, guys. If you don't know what Outlier is, they're the best sports betting tool on the market. Link in the description below, 7-day free trial to try it out for yourself. If you guys want a kind of in-depth look at Outlier, go check out my NBA Player Prop Parlay behind the scenes video, which I did last week. All right, guys, so here we go. First leg of our 5-leg parlay. Look at the stats for Evan Mobley. Overall, pretty solid. 7 of his last 10 games. And if you look at the 2023 season as a whole, 70% hit rate, 21 out of 30 games. Mobley was coming back from an injury before the All-Star break, but you see here a steady increase. You see that chart, literally steady increase of minutes. The last game they played on Valentine's Day before the All-Star break, he played just about 31 minutes, so he is back to about his normal playing time. You look at the head-to-head data. Now, this is an alternate line, but he has cashed this in each of the last 4 meetings with the Orlando Magic, including the one time he's played Orlando this year back on December 6th. Mobley has actually played 6 career games versus the Magic, and he's hit this in 5 out of 6 career games versus Orlando. So solid head-to-head data so far in his career for Evan Mobley versus Orlando. And if you look at the right side of the screen here, you'll see defensively, actually not a fantastic matchup. You see Orlando versus centers. They are about, top half of the league, and then power forwards, really good, but the head-to-head data, I think, overwhelms that. So I'm going to trust the head-to-head data here, even though defensively, Orlando's done pretty well against big men. All right, guys, second leg of our 5-leg parlay. We're targeting the Knicks-Sixers game, which kicks off at 7 p.m. We're going with Bojan Bogdanovic of the Knicks over 14.5 points plus rebounds. Now, the data is a little tricky here because a lot of this was with his time with the Pistons. He has hit this in 9 of his last 10 games. You stretch that data out to his last 20, 19 of his last 20 games, 95% hit rate. And you look at the 2023 season as a whole, 27 out of 30 games, 90% hit rate. The data looks good, but remember, he was on that really bad Pistons teams. But since joining the Knicks, we'll go here and look at the last 5. He's played 2 games with the Knicks so far. His first game on February 10th versus the Pacers, he had 11 points, 3 rebounds. His last game before the All-Star break on February 12th, he had 15 points and 4 rebounds versus the Rockets, who are a pretty solid defensive team. So, I think Bogdanovic looks pretty good here. And if you look at the injury report on the right side of the screen, the Knicks obviously still no Julius Randle, no Anunoby, no Mitchell Robinson. Bogdanovic is listed as a game time decision, but I'm willing to take that risk there. I think especially if Anunoby is out, Bogdanovic should get plenty of playing time. Look at the defensive matchup on the right side of the screen. The Sixers give up the second most rebounds in the NBA to opposing small forwards. And although they are a solid defensive team in terms of points allowed, giving up 20.4 points per game, head-to-head wise, Bogdanovic has a pretty good track record in his career versus Philly. So I like this spot for the second leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, third leg of our 5-leg parlay. We are cruising along here on this Thursday morning. Ben Simmons, over 11.5 rebounds plus assists. Now, look, I'll be the first one to admit this is definitely a risky pick. You see Ben Simmons, this is the one that we bet him. The one time we bet Ben Simmons this year was this February 8th game versus Cleveland. He had 1 rebound and 2 assists. But overall, 8 of his last 10 games, he has cashed this line. You stretch that out to his last 20, 12 of his last 20 games, a 60% hit rate. And in the 2023 season as a whole, 10 out of 12 games, 83% hit rate. So overall, the data is pretty good. Not really going to look at head-to-head data here because he hasn't played Toronto since the year 2022, and the Raptors are just a very different team since then. You look at the right side of the screen here for Toronto, they are bottom half of the league in rebounds allowed and bottom 4 in assists allowed to opposing teams. And Ben Simmons, I don't know where to categorize him. He's listed as a point guard, but he kind of plays across all these positions. But overall, Toronto, remember, they're not a great team against any of these metrics, and a lot of these stats include the whole season when they had guys like OG Anunoby and Siakam. So a little bit tough to get reads on the Raptors here. But overall, we're going to trust Ben Simmons. If he misses this, he's going right back on the no-bet list. But for now, we are going to trust the data. We're going to trust Ben Simmons here for the third leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, fourth leg of our 5-leg parlay. We're targeting the Suns-Mavs game, which kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Bradley Beal of the Phoenix Suns over 22.5 points plus assists. Now, the data here is all right for Beal. 5 of his last 10 games, he has cashed this line. Not fantastic. You stretch that data out to his last 20 games, 11 of his last 20. You look at the 2023 season as a whole, again, 14 out of 30 games, just shy of 50%. So, Tassa, why do you like this line? Well, I love it because of the head-to-head data. Now, they've only played one time this season, Bradley Beal has, versus Dallas back on January 24th, a few weeks ago, about a month ago, actually. He had 20 points and 7 assists versus this same Mavericks team. So he already cashed this once against the Mavericks, but using StatMuse, remember if you watched my video on Friday, my behind the scenes, this is not the only betting tool I use, not just Outlier. On StatMuse, you can go back and look at their entire career versus an individual team. Since 2014, Bradley Beal has played the Dallas Mavericks 14 times, including that one matchup this year as a member of the Phoenix Suns. He has cashed this line in 12 of his last 14 games versus Dallas. So, I mean, that's dating back to 2014, so some of that data, if you go farther back, is pretty irrelevant. But the point being that he has covered this consistently versus the Mavericks, even dating back to his last 5 or so years. So I trust Bradley Beal here. You look at the right side of the screen defensively at the Dallas Mavericks, look at the shooting guard position. It makes sense. They are bottom 4 in points allowed, giving up about 29 points per game to opposing shooting guards, and they are bottom 9 in assists allowed, giving up 6.5 assists a game to opposing shooting guards. So solid defensive spot here. Again, the data is not fantastic, but he is still hitting it at a moderately okay rate, just shy of 50%. Overall, I like the spot for Bradley Beal. Pretty good career numbers versus Dallas. That's the fourth leg of our 5-leg parlay. I think this is the fastest I've ever done a 5-leg parlay video. We are flying along here in the video, guys. Comment 8 down below if you made it this far in the video. We just passed the 8-minute mark. I'm actually kind of impressed how fast we're going here while also making sure to provide you guys with that data. So again, drop that 8 in the comment section below. Here we go, guys. Fifth and final leg of today's parlay. We're targeting the Celtics-Bulls game, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics over 24.5 points. Overall, data's not bad. He's hit this in 6 of his last 10 games. You stretch that data to his last 20, 11 of his last 20 games, 55% hit rate. Again, not awful. And you'll see here he's generally pretty close. You see here in his last 20 games, only once has he scored less than 18 points. So he's always around this line or cashing it. On the 2023 season as a whole, a 63% hit rate, 33 out of 52 games he has cashed this line for Boston. You look at the head-to-head data, he's cashed in 3 of his last 4 meetings with the Chicago Bulls. The one time they met back in November, he had just 21 points, however. So the one time they played this year, he did not cash this line. However, the Bulls situation dating back to late November, they were a very different team than they are now. The Bulls are kind of punting on this season. No Zach LaVine. They got quite a few injuries. Here's why I like the spot here. Jason Tatum, now the Celtics are pretty much completely healthy here. With that being said, it looks like the starting lineup most likely based off of previous lineup data. The Celtics will probably go with a lineup that has Tatum starting at the power forward and Porzingis starting at the center spot. And you look at the right side of the screen here defensively, the Bulls versus power forwards. Bottom 5 of the NBA, giving up 27 points per game to opposing power forward. Tatum, again, he lines up typically a lot of power forward, especially when Porzingis is healthy. Sometimes they go with Porzingis at the 4 and like Al Horford at the 5. But I do think here Porzingis will probably get the start. Tatum at power forward. And again, no Patrick Williams for the Bulls either, which is a big win for us in terms of the matchup data. Overall, head-to-head, again, 4 of his last 5, he has cashed this. The one time they played this year, he did not. But overall, I like the spot here. In versus small forwards, they're a lot better, but overall, I think he's going to probably play power forward, and this team is pretty horribly bad defensively against power forward. So that's the 5th and final leg of today's parlay. All right, guys, here is our 5-leg parlay ticket. Just a quick little recap. Bojan Bogdanovic, over 14.5 points plus rebounds. Jason Tatum, over 24.5 points. Ben Simmons, over 11.5 rebounds plus assists. Bradley Beal, over 22.5 points plus assists. And Evan Mobley, over 15.5 points plus assists. You parlay all 5 of those legs together, guys. You get a parlay of plus 1,033 odds. The lines and the odds will probably fluctuate as the day goes along, but you'll be roughly in the ballpark of this line. So, guys, that is it for me today. Again, 5-leg parlay today. Freaky Friday. We're still doing our 5-leg parlay tomorrow. Kind of a little celebration. We have a large NBA slate tonight, and obviously with the break we've had, I feel like a couple of 5-leg parlays here to kick off this week. Not a bad idea. So, guys, I will see you all tomorrow with our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay. Until then, I hope we're all winners. Have a good one, guys.